Hello YouTube, welcome back. We have another video today. Let's jump right in and take a look at this device. It's actually a Lenovo IdeaPad 3 15 ITL 05. So that's what we're looking at in this thing, and it's got a problem. This is how it came in. And I guess this fell off of a dresser. I hate to say it, but if it fell off of a dresser and impacted somewhere else, that would show the broken spot. However, there's a nice broken spot right in the middle. Anyhow, we're not here to figure that out. What we're here to do is take it apart. So I did have to pull the panel to get the LCD out to get a matching model number, but let's go ahead and disassemble this thing. We have a few screws to take out. So we have a few long screws here, here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The rest are short. Let's go ahead and pop this open. I'm just going to take a little pry tool, go right along the edge and lift. This should not be a very hard laptop to get into as well. If you're thinking that, it should actually come apart fairly easy for you. We're missing a foot too. Interesting. Perhaps I'll find one, maybe not that color, but definitely that shape. We'll see if we can't put a foot on this thing. Okay, so we left it, the state we left it, it was on. What we want to do is take and get under here to attempt to pull the battery. We're going to shut this off, so let's get something to get under there. We will use a pry tool. And battery is disconnected. We do have a BIOS battery, so we don't have to worry about losing that there. Why they're only putting 4 gigs in a laptop, I don't know, but I'm guessing this has 8 gigs total, possibly 4 gigabytes there, and the 4 on board, 4 there. I don't like those upgrade models in that type of upgrade path. Look at the size of that SSD. Look at it. So tiny. Pad's back in place. Let's go ahead and pull. Well, what do we need out of here? We need our Wi-Fi wires. Let's grab some tweezers. One of them actually popped off already. And let's see, they are hooked in to the fan. So we need to extract. Wow, those are tied up in a knot. Need to extract that out of there. And there we go. Let's unhook it from this part of the fan as well. And lastly, we'll go down under that part of the fan, out from under our metal tab, and we're ready to pull this side. Looks like we have a webcam and a display cable. I'll take a look here. I don't like zooming in because I always forget to zoom out, but we'll throw some light on the subject. So we have our display cable. That should pop right out. And also, it's either going to be a webcam or a touch screen. So very delicate wires right here. I don't like when there's nothing to the wires. But thankfully, it's a very light plug. We'll undo this at this little clip. And we should be good to go now. Let's go ahead and, before we do anything, I realize we're missing one screw, so we're going to try to hold this and carry the extra force for the hinges. We're going to flip our screen 90 degrees down off of the edge of our bench. So I have the screen hanging down off the edge. We'll go in there and let's undo the few screws that hold the hinges on, and we can focus on the screen. This computer isn't very old, about 6 months I believe. So we'll go ahead and pull a few wires out of this clip here, and let's get this thing out of the way. Okay, so now with this, I'm going to take all of our hinge screws, I'm going to set them over here. We need to find a way to get this apart. So let's work on that for a moment. I can just go ahead and pull the bezel off, but I'd rather see if we can't unclip this thing some way, shape or form. It looks like we should be able to unclip it back here possibly. I don't know. That is a fairly daunting way. This thing was flexed all kinds of terrible ways getting this bezel off. Let's take a look. I'll show you what I mean. I can also show you another cool point. And this is newer laptops. I haven't actually shown too many of these, but I went ahead and put it back together. How do we get this thing off? Is it a slide lock? Looks like it might. Yeah, slide lock. Okay, perfect. So these screens, as you can see, I have one side free. You can see the screen. We have one side free here, so. But we want to take a look at this side here. We have this little tab here. And this stuff's kind of cool if you can get it out without it tangling on itself. I'm going to take and pick this up and start pulling. And I'm not too worried about reusing this. I have a big roll of this stuff. I don't have the black, I have clear. What I'm going to do is keep transferring. Oh, we didn't want that to happen. Oh, it's still stuck. So what this is stretch release tape, toffee tape. And a lot of this stuff will come in newer laptops. And if you can pull it out without it kinking on itself and folding up and curling up, you can reuse it. But like I said, I generally don't. I have a whole roll of it here, so no need. But let's go ahead and focus on our screen. We're going to flip it over, undo our latch, pull it out, and we'll get our new panel put in here. And hopefully we can throw this back together fairly quickly. As you can see, whenever it got popped apart, we did some flexing on the plastic. I may try and hit this with some heat, grab it with pliers maybe, and flex some of that back so it will go back together nicely. Let's hop into this box and grab our panel out. There we go. The free padding of choice. Oh, I just think of all the waste of these. boy, is that bent. Dang. I don't know. I'm glad this is on video, me on cutting that and unwrapping it. That is, I mean, we can bend it back, but damn. Was that thing bent? Undoubtedly shifting side to side, or whenever they fold it, that's exactly what it is. When they folded it to roll it. Oh man, I hope this screen works. If not, we're gonna send it back. Anyhow, we'll flip it over here. We're gonna get our little cable, and this is not a 40 pin or a 30 pin. This is a 40 pin narrow, which is generally used for on-cell touch panels. I'm not going to say all. That's a nice gash in the protective layer. Let's go ahead and set this in here. It does fit there, and we can set it down and flex that back some more. That's good. I'm going to wait a moment. You know what? It's stretch release tape. We will we'll take and make our label ends, or our ends, our pull tabs. This is generally how I make the pull tabs for these. I will take a white label and split it roughly in half. Yeah, it may not be perfect in half, but you know. And then we'll take and fold that in half. We'll get ourselves a little pull tab set up, and then we will clip that. Fold this one in half as well. And clip there. Tell me I threw it. I did. I'm a dummy. Just lining these up, and we're going to trim them to be the same size. Going to make them a little thinner than they are. Let's lift our screen up. Set that over out of the way. This stuff can be an absolute nightmare to work with, this stretch release or toffee tape. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab it. It does go along this edge here. And put it down there. We probably don't even need that much. Now, we need to slice that and get the end off, kind of all in one motion. Without, what we're going to do is go up onto our roll and cut there and pull it apart. This stuff makes a nightmare mess out of scissors, out of everything, especially gloves. Let's get one of our sticky tabs. We'll take and peel our backer, which I should have left should have left it stick out, but it's okay. We'll peel it sooner rather than later. Alright, so what this is going to be a pull tab for our tape here. We're going to take and lift it up where we just cut that. Lift just a little. Find a way to tuck that in there. And peel this off. This is wider stretch release tape as well. So here's what we're going to do on this one. We will actually, we're going to put our pull tab on first. So let's go ahead and do that. We have a bit of a backer on this one. Don't stick to it. Thank you. Let's go ahead and lift this up. Careful not to stick it to our gloves. We'll take an attempt to lift this. We're going to want to fold it, put it back. We'll take our piece here. We'll make this easy on ourselves. We're going to wind it right around to find a cut spot. Make it just a tad shorter. And take, got our cut spot. Let's find out. Get these out of the way. If you're wondering, this tape does not go all the way out to the edge. Alright, both of those installed. Let's get the roll out of the way. I hope that our panel works. We could have tested it first, but I'm going to have faith that I didn't get a dead-on arrival product and that massive bend in it didn't screw it beyond all belief. Let's get those just out of the way for the moment. This is going to be very tricky here. Let me take and reroute my wire quick. Okay, so it goes under, over, and under. Makes that loop. Alright, perfect. Sits down in there. And let's attempt to get this the hell out of the way. And set this in. Set that in. And drop our panel in place. Alright, and then we have our 2 pull tabs up top for our stretch release tape. Oh, damn it. Where did they have that other stuff at? It's just a thin strip of it. We'll take and pull this off as well, if it's going to come off reasonably. Let's investigate quick. We are running out of time, but okay, so we got most of our sticky tape off of that. Let's grab something to flatten that and bend it the right way. Tried those and these. These are probably my 2 best sets. We got a bit of a flat edge there. We can try and straighten. Alright, so we got 1 kink out of it. Let's try and take this kink out as well. That one's just a little further gone. I think it's going to be okay and go in and latch down with our little slide lock hinge cover. And that got pretty dinged up and bent coming off of that computer, man. Dang, like coming off of the front. Let's go ahead. Wow, that one is absolutely destroyed. Okay, let's grab that. Careful not to grab that other edge. About as good as we can get it. I'll take and run a piece of tape across there now. Just in prep for all this stuff when it goes back together. Good enough. Okay, what else? Do we have faith in it? Do we have faith in it that it's going to work? I don't like doing this, but there you have it. We're going to hang this up in case we need it to snap back on that screen. Let's go ahead and peel up a little protective film for our double-sided adhesive. And what that's going to do is help the gap on the screen. This, I'm not sure where this came out though. That's my only, oh boy. So I'm guessing it would have been, yeah, it had to have been in there somewhere. And the Wi-Fi wires, same thing. We got them coming out by the hinge. Now, does this come out right by the hinge as well? I think it... Well, here we go. Before we put it back together, let's take a look-see. Okay, so the hinge goes on, and these kind of just popped up through right there. Hinge goes there. This one goes there. Yeah, and it literally, okay, so it just sets by the hinge. Perfect. All right, let's, I know you didn't see any of that. We know roughly where these go. I'm going to keep them out of the way. And put our bezel back on. Let's scoot that down into place on each side. So you have to start finding somewhere to snap it on. And this could end up being, like I said, absolute nightmare. There's not a lot of clipping that goes on with these to keep them on. So we will try our best to get it to stay. So we have that one, that stays there. Let's see about this side. Right up the edge. And it's mostly... Oh, I see what I did. Let me see what I did. I have stuff not where it's supposed to be. That's why it's being a problem. So now that it's where it's supposed to be, let's pull it back down. And then snap that in place. Perfect. So what that adhesive should do that we put on is hold the bottom of the screen here, or the bezel, tight to the screen. Hopefully. That's the goal. That's what we want. That's how it should work. Let's put this together. Actually, before we do that, let's do this nightmare. So this goes back. It slid off that way, so it's going to go on the opposite way. It did kind of rip the edge of that. Yeah, it is what it is though. You can't fix it. We could probably pull it apart and file it and clean the edge up, make it nice and straight, scrape it with razor or something, but it's still locking and clicking and doing what it does. So I think we'll just go ahead and leave it at that. And let's grab our Wi-Fi wires, throw them through. Alright, so one's on, pry tool, right there, and the other one is through. Let's grab our display cable, we'll pull it out of the way and drop that hinge into place as well. I'm going to take and open those hinges up a little for right now. There we go. Let's put our 4 screws back in our hinges so we don't bump this and knock it off. It is hanging off the edge of the counter. So when we put these in, just like any other time, you want to take and look for where the arrow's pointing, just like on your motherboard. You'll have arrows pointing where screws go. With any modern computer, take and put the screws in where the arrows are pointing. So here and here, but not there. That screw comes through from the bottom case. Goes in to help anchor the hinge in and clip this corner of the bottom case to the bottom side of the palm rest and keyboard. And same thing for this side. Same pattern, you can't miss it. There we go. Let's route our Wi-Fi wires. We have them going through there. Go under the metal tab, up through part of our fan here. Through that little spot. And then back down under. So let's try and get a close up of what I'm actually working on right here. So you can kind of see these clips. The wires go down under, and then you pull them up through, and then the wires will lay over that. Just a routing mechanism for there we go, hitting the thing with the camera with our head. Just a routing mechanism for our wires. So let's go ahead and pull these down under and up through. And then we need to spin them into place. So we have gray wire and black wire. Gray goes to white, black goes to black. Sadly, there is no tie-down plate for these wires, meaning one was popped off whenever it came in here. So I don't know if I have a tie-down plate. Like, it goes where the screw goes to hold the Wi-Fi card down, and then a little clip that goes over everything. Yeah, there's just too much pressure on that to want to. Alright, so those go in. We're going to bend that there. Yeah, that just instantly snaps back off. Okay, we're going to make a tie-down plate for that very quickly. It's not going to be anything extravagant. We're going to literally cut a piece of plastic and melt it and make it work. So this is an old battery cover that I made out of Instamorph. Yeah. We just need something to kind of help hold these down. That's also going to, wow. These antenna wires are bad. Let's go ahead and pull out this antenna, or Wi-Fi screw. We need to put a hole through that, which isn't going to be fun. Alright, here we go. We literally need just a little hole through our plastic. It's probably going to melt before it drills, but we always thought that it should have drilled, so. Alright. With that there, let's clip the excess off of each side of the screw hole that melted out of the way from the drill bit in the heat. We will take and alright, where did our screw go now? Right there. It should still be long enough. If not, we'll switch to a longer one. Come on. Love smashing my head into shit. Okay, not the best idea, but you know what it's going to do? We're going to add a little heat to it. Like so. What that's going to do is melt it. Kind of contour it to the wires just a hair. And that's going to help hold our black and our gray wire, or our white, black and white wire, gray wire. It'll help hold both of them on. Alright, let's do this quick. We're going to plug in our battery, which is right here. This is a very quick matter. See if we can wrap this today. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot the goody good stuff. Let's flip our display cable in where it goes. Looks like it's in. It is. We have this wire to put in place. It's in as well. And I guess we should line this up before we go snapping and popping, huh? I don't think we're doing the foot on this video, but there we are. We have a working screen and it is touch. Let's throw these few screws in that we know where they go. I'll put the long ones to the corners. Yeah, I don't think I have one of these feet readily available. We'll take a very quick look. Are you kidding me? Oh, I was gonna say, damn. Alright, let's put you in. And I realized I wasn't zoomed out. There we go. We have what, 4 more to put in? 5. Literally leave our tools where they are. We'll clean them up later. We got to be back here tonight. Write up the bill and they can come and pick this up tomorrow. It was not a cheap screen, but for a 6-month-old laptop and touchscreen, I would expect not much less. As you can see, if you haven't already seen, it is a touchscreen. You can see that there. We can connect to Wi-Fi if we want to, but we can do that. Alright, so screen working, no longer with a punch mark in the middle. We'll charge this up, and I don't think we need to test much more than that. Anyhow, thank you so much for hanging out with me and fixing this touchscreen on this laptop. We got an easy job. I mean, not that we fixed it, we just did a part swap. And I know people may not like the part swap videos, but if you're going to have any type of business, such as a repair business, a computer repair business, a lot of this stuff, and Windows reloads, and cleanups and whatnot are going to be your bread and butter jobs. So you kind of have to, you know, decide. Are part swaps okay? Of course they are. They make you money. Anyhow, my name's Nick. If you're new here, thank you for hanging out. Much, much love for dealing with this thing with me today. We'll see you next time, people. Take it easy.